Live from tape, pre-recorded at our studios in Austin, Texas and Portland, Oregon. It's syndicated with Leslie and Ben. Hello, everyone. I'm the Ben of that.
And I'm the Leslie. This is a twice monthly podcast about television, genre, and storytelling in which we watch an episode of a show and explore the history of television one episode at a time.
If you're just now joining us, we're talking about Rick and Morty, the 5-season Adult Swim comedy series by Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland, about mad scientist Rick Sanchez and his grandson Morty and their interdimensional and disastrous space adventures. A clear parody of the Doc Brown and Marty characters from Back to the Future, Rick and Morty do more than just travel through time. Their scientific mishaps put them in the crosshairs of bounty hunters, planetary governments, and extra-dimensional floating heads.
Dan Harmon, the co-creator of the show, you may know from being the producer and lead writer of Community, a similarly referential and sometimes bawdy comedy show. Harmon was famously let go from Community after its third season, and Rick and Morty is what he made before he was hired back for the fifth season. Harmon himself stars in his comedy podcast Harmontown and the animated spin-off Harmon Quest, a truncated D&D live show series. Harmon also plays Bird Person on this show.
Obviously, I just wrote the line that Community's a little bawdy. I don't know if that's like its defining character trait, but you can see, I think, where the comedy DNA from Community comes into this.
Sure.
Especially the more referential angle. How, Community is known for its film references.
Okay.
And, obviously this show plays with a lot of science fiction tropes and tackles everything from obviously Back to the Future, but there's some Star Trek in there.
Sure.
Did you ever watch Harmon Quest?
I did
Do you
not
remember
ever
when that
watch.
came out?
No, I don't. When did it come out?
I think that was a CISO original.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I never watched it.
Yes, it was a CISO original, but obviously CISO collapsed after like a year and a half. Then it moved over to Verve, VRV.
Yep.
Which I think has also since collapsed. I'm not entirely sure.
I think you're right.
Oh, maybe Verve's still kicking. I don't know. It's odd. It's obviously a clear attempt to jump on the D&D live streaming. Look, the same market that I'm in. But that is popularized by such shows as the PAX guys, the Penny Arcade guys had their version of the show. Critical Role, obviously. There's that newer one, Dimension 20. But that one is entirely, it's partially live action and partially animated.
Okay.
And it's always filmed in front of a theater, or at least, was when theaters were more safe.
Yeah.
And it's really weirdly truncated. Like they're very clearly not playing a overarching campaign. Because episodes are like a short 20 minutes or whatever. And it's just like their special guest and them like exploring some tropes. And like the most, they don't really get into like the meat or the rules or anything. They just kind of use key on lock.
Oh, okay.
Get magic orb and tell some jokes in between. It's that kind of show.
Got it.
I don't know. I watched the first season of it. I thought it was fine.
Well, all right.
Rest in peace, CISO.
Yeah. Rest in peace, CISO. They were maybe a little bit. Ahead of their time doesn't seem right, but maybe I guess because they were a niche thing back before every other station had their own. Like Peacock or CBS Plus or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned Peacock because they were a subsidiary of NBC. And it feels like if CISO had been like a... like how DC has Vertigo?
Yes.
If it had been like a smaller brand under NBC, and if it was like the CISO wing of Peacock, but you could still watch like Seinfeld on there.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it would have worked better if it was like supplementary original comedy attached to NBC's actual streaming wing. But
Yeah.
obviously, NBC didn't bother to do a streaming wing until like last year when they launched Peacock.
Yeah.
I think that's the only way it would have worked. But the thing is, they made CISO and they're like, it's brand new original shows, but we only got like 6 at the start, and you'll have to trust us that it's worth it. I thought it was worth it. I paid for
Yeah.
it for the first like for
I
like
liked
a
it.
year.
It was that was one of those things that I learned about as a result of Austin Television Festival. Um, telling you, it's a great. I'll never shut up about Austin Television Festival. It's amazing.
No, for sure. I loved Paul F. Tompkins' show on that, the Bajillion Dollar Properties.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They actually, I got to see the pilot of that. That was one of those that I got to see the pilot of at Austin Television Festival months prior to it actually airing. So yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Rick Sanchez, the reckless super genius with little regard for other people, and Morty Smith, his 14-year-old loser grandson who gets dragged on his adventures as his sidekick, are both played by Justin Roiland.
Mhm.
Roiland is the creator of the original animated short that spawned the show, the co-creator of the TV show, and it's his animation production company that makes both Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites, a Hulu exclusive in roughly the same animation style.
Mhm.
Roiland's largely known for his voice work and has appearances in other animated shows, including Gravity Falls, Adventure Time, and recently Amazon's Invincible.
I'm glad that you brought up Gravity Falls because Justin Roiland and Alex Hirsch, who created Gravity Falls, are really, really close friends, actually. And
Hmm.
there are actually a lot of references to, well, I say a lot, but there have definitely been a few Easter egg references to Gravity Falls in Rick and Morty. In some of the scribblings and runes and things in various episodes, you can see Bill Cipher and stuff like that. Uh,
Oh,
and
hell yeah.
actually, yeah, and I actually watched Gravity Falls before I watched Rick and Morty, and so when I did a rewatch of Gravity Falls, I immediately recognized Justin Roiland's voice. Um, he plays the time traveler in Gravity Falls. He does the voice of the time travel guy who gets in so much trouble and all that
Oh,
stuff.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Blenton Blandon.
Yes, Brendan Blandon. Thank you.
Also, Bobby Renzabi, and, quote, various voices. But he's been in a solid 7 of those. He's also the Earl of Lemongrab in Adventure Time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to see. I mean, I know we talked about this with workplace comedies, but it's even more true in adult and children oriented animation,
Hmm.
which is that there is a, not a hierarchy, that's not the word I'm looking for, a family tree, as it were,
Mm.
of like people who worked on each other's shows or whatever. Like someone who was like the assistant lead animator on one show then goes to create their own show.
Right.
And like there's like a pretty there's like a pretty clear like family tree
Hmm.
generationally that goes from like Powerpuff Girls down to like the Owl House.
That is very true. It is a little bit. I mean, I guess it is slightly incestuous, but I mean, they're all incredibly talented, so I'm okay with it.
I wasn't saying that as a bad thing. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
I
I'm
see
with
that
you.
as more of an apprenticeship thing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Let's see if I can find that graphic. I don't think Rick and Morty is on that chart or anything, but it's still interesting to see like those pathways, especially since animation is a considerably smaller industry than live
Yeah.
action television. So I imagine it's already the kind of place where everyone already knows each other.
Sure.
Have you ever seen that original short?
Which one's that?
The original short upon which Rick and Morty is
Oh
based.
no, I have not seen it. I have not seen it.
It's not super.
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it looks like it's drawn in MS Paint. Royland is voicing both characters, but like it also it's very more clearly supposed to be Doc Brown and Marty McFly.
yes, absolutely, without a
Um,
doubt.
well, I mean, this show sure is those archetypes, but like literally, it's supposed to be Doc Brown and Marty McFly in that short,
Yes.
like the DeLoreans in the background.
Got it. Okay, so it's like much more is it's less derivative and more of a put what is it called? Oh my god, hold on.
Direct parody.
Nope, it's less derivative. Bleh. It's less derivative and more of a pastiche. That's what
More
it's
of a
called.
pastiche. There we go.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch all of it because it's not exactly what we're talking about today, but like, I mean, you can see the comedic blueprint is there, and obviously
mm,
he has nailed the voices down right away. Even though they obviously changed it to be wink wink legally distinct.
Ah, yes.
he's still using those exact same voices.
Yeah, that is true. Beth Smith is Rick's daughter and Morty's mom, who has washed her hands of her dad's weird lifestyle, even though she lets him live with her family. She's played by Sarah Chalk, who we talked about last season when we tackled Scrubs. This isn't her only animated role right now, as she's also a main cast member on Paradise PD.
We were talking last episode about shows that have kind of come out in the wave of Bob's Burgers that are kind of partially imitating the Bob's Burgers style.
Mhm.
This isn't quite one of those. It looks like an unholy union of Bob's Burgers and like the Family Guy aesthetic.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I, I don't think it's probably that good. I mean, it's cops, so you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I haven't ever watched it. I really love Sarah Chalk. Obviously, I loved her on Scrubs. I loved her when she was new Becky on
Of
Roseanne.
course, right. I did notice that when I was doing the research. I did notice Roseanne was in there.
Yes, I want to say that was her first role. I think I'm trying to
Uh,
remember.
I mean, that might be that's going on 25, 30 years ago now, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. No, she had a couple of things apparently. Uh, she had a few things before Roseanne, but not many. A few bit parts. Yeah. Looks like she was in Ernest Goes to School. That's a fact for you.
Yeah. Well, she would have only been like what, like 25 at the time, 23.
Yeah, very young.
Yeah, I mean, first major role. We can say that for sure.
Yeah.
Chris Parnell plays her husband Jerry Smith, Morty's dad, who I don't know, he's trying. Jerry frequently gets in the way of Rick's experiments and has some clear marital problems with Morty's mom. Chris Parnell, of course, plays Dr. Leo Spaceman on 30 Rock, a character we actually didn't get around to discussing when we covered it last season. And Cyril Figgis on Archer, who knows we might cover later this season.
Oh, yeah, we might. We very well might.
I love Dr. Leo Spaceman. I think he's great. I love him, and I love the doctor who keeps intentionally misspeaking during Arrested Development.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We lost him. Oh God, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, he just left. Like that kind of bullshit.
Yeah, yeah.
I love Leo Spaceman and his pamphlets on psychiatry that he hands to Tracy. Just what a great joke.
Oh, yeah. Spencer Grammer plays Summer Smith, Morty's older sister and Rick's granddaughter. Summer is a normal high schooler who is often framed as a straight man, where her mundane world is contrasted against the frightening and fantastical adventures of her younger brother. Spencer appeared on the ABC TV show Greek and is on the new Nickelodeon show The Barbarian and the Troll. So I don't know anything about that show. Is that an animated show?
Uh, I'll raise you one. It's a puppet show.
Oh, it's a puppet show.
It is co-created by Mike Mitchell and Drew Massey, and Drew Massey, I believe, is a former Jim Henson guy.
Oh.
I don't know anything about it. I only found out about it about 20 minutes ago.
Oh, well, all right.
But yeah, no, he was part of. Hey, we already mentioned PFT. He was part of No, You Shut Up with Paul F. Tompkins.
There you go. We do love Paul F. Tompkins on this show.
Looks like he was in the Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Oh wow!
And that Happy Time Murders weird puppet noir that came out a couple years ago.
Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that one.
But enough about him, who this show isn't about. Yeah, apparently it's a puppet fantasy show for Nickelodeon.
All right.
Presumably out of our age bracket.
Well, presumably, but you never know.
You never know. Could be all ages. Rick and Morty is a pretty cameo-heavy show with plenty of comedy legends contributing voices to it over the years, including more than a couple former Community actors, Dana Carvey, Werner Herzog, Taika Waititi, Keith David, and Peter Serafinowicz.
Wow.
Quite literally, I just had to pick and choose who I was going to include in there because literally a ton of people have been on the show.
Well, sure.
It's an enviable gig, I guess, getting a voice cameo on this show. But yeah, like Joel McHale, Jim Rash have been on that. You know, couple former Community folks. Harmon seems like one of those dudes where if you've worked with him once, you can just keep working with him.
Oh yeah. Like call me back anytime.
Yeah, exactly. Last but not least, the episode we watched today is Season 1, Episode 6, Rick Potion number 9. Morty's attempts to ask his classmate Jessica out to the school's flu awareness dance is rebuffed, which compels him to make the shitty choice to ask his grandfather Rick for a love potion of sorts. When the love potion has an adverse effect on the students of Morty's high school, Rick picks Morty up early from the dance. In an attempt to undo his mistakes, Rick makes the population of their city into praying mantis monsters who are obsessed with killing Morty after, you know how praying mantises work. Meanwhile, Beth and Jerry are working on their marriage issues while Beth is supposed to be working on fixing a horse.
Ah, yes. All right.
Leslie, I got some questions for you.
All right, let's hear them.
You know what they are.
Yep.
Why Rick and Morty?
That is actually a pretty complicated question, Ben.
Oh, well, if only we had a podcast to sort out those
if
issues.
only. So, you and I have very similar tastes in most television, and you and I enjoy talking about various genres of television, obviously. And I knew when you and I decided that we were going to tackle adult animation, I knew that I wanted to talk about Rick and Morty. And the reason why I wanted to talk about Rick and Morty is because I feel like it has become a victim of its fandom because the fans are terrible. And the fans actually being terrible are the main reason why I didn't watch it for a really long time. And this, I have to say, is an adult animated show that I personally adore. I think that it's a fantastic show. I think it's incredibly intelligent. And I think that most of the fandom does not understand what they're watching, quite frankly. And I also think that the people who are the most horrible about it are the ones who get it the absolute least. I'm really, really grateful to my partner Hector, who did eventually get me to watch the show, because he was absolutely right. It's brilliant. You just have to go into it knowing that the fandom is full of neckbeard dude bros, and their opinions literally don't matter. So as long as you go into it with that understanding, then you will have a great time. And I wanted to tackle this show because I kind of feel like among those of us who tend to dissociate from neckbeard dude bros, I felt an obligation to clear the name of Rick and Morty as a show and to vouch for it and to say, you know what, this is a good show. This is a really good show. I promise. Trust me.
I believe you.
So yeah. So that's the reason I chose Rick and Morty, because I wanted to talk about it.
It's kind of funny because as you know, as I've pre-warned you, I have the opposite relationship to this show.
Ah, yes.
Which is that I was into it for the first 2 seasons. And then the McDonald's incident happened.
Oh yeah.
And I context for the listener, if you are perhaps not aware of what happened, which is that to start their 3rd season, is that right?
Yeah, I think it was the 3rd season. Yeah, I don't know because I wasn't following it back then, so I don't quite remember. But I want to say that it was the 1st season. Yeah, or sorry, the 3rd season.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Is that they released like a clip that had to deal with, or maybe it was even in an episode, in which Rick mentions this limited edition Szechuan sauce from that McDonald's used to put out as part of their Mulan tie-in. So in like 1998, like a solid 20 years prior to when the episode came out.
Yes.
In which he talked about, how good it was and how it's no longer available anymore, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. McDonald's announced a brand partnership with Rick and Morty as a result, and they tried to make the Szechuan sauce re-available for a limited time. And the crowd went wild. But not like in a cheering way, like in a riotous way.
Yeah, it was really bad because it was a limited edition, and so all the dude bros went and they verbally abused McDonald's workers and all of this crazy stuff to get their Szechuan sauce, when like the entire point of that episode is how stupid and pointless all that kind of stuff is anyway. So like that immediately just went right over everybody's heads very clearly.
Right. I mean, it was kind of sort of making fun of like sneaker culture, right? Like,
yes.
Of the idea of like, or at least that's what it ended up becoming, which is that, people were waiting outside of McDonald's like they were waiting outside of like a Nike retailer.
Yeah.
Or for the new iPhone or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was making fun of, I'm sure that episode was, which I never ended up seeing, because I didn't watch season 3.
Yeah.
was making fun of the idea that like, oh, the combination of like limited edition restricted supply plus nostalgia equals some look, it's a phenomenon we just saw happen with like Pokemon cards like over the
Yeah,
summer.
yeah,
Like truly it was critiquing that, and what happened is it, not through its own fault, ended up replicating that.
yeah.
um, and I saw dozens of videos of people being shitheads to McDonald's fry cooks,
Mm.
and thought,
Yeah, it's really bad.
yeah, and just kind of thought there in the moment, ah, I don't want to be associated with that. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too, which is why I didn't watch it for a really long time.
Yeah. So I didn't watch season 3, and I've had nothing to do with the show since. Not like out of active protest, just like Leslie, we've talked about this in the past, where it's just like, well, what do I want to watch today? I have so many options, and then I'm like, should I finish Rick and Morty?
Oh, yeah.
I'll watch something else.
Yeah.
I'm not like trying to take money away from Dan Harmon or anything. I don't care about that. I
Sure.
just I saw that and I was like, no, thank you. Just left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
That, and then like Elon Musk got really into the show,
Ugh. He
and
ruins everything.
he
Elon
does.
Musk ruins absolutely everything.
I saw
And it's so fucking frustrating.
a tweet yesterday that boiled down to, actually, I think it's right here, literally. I saw a tweet yesterday that boiled down to, Elon Musk deserves recognition for one thing. While plenty of billionaires regularly demonstrate the inherent evil of their wealth, there is only one person who has made it deeply, profoundly uncool. But
Yeah.
like then Elon Musk got super into it, and the Rick and Morty creators kind of started snuggling up to him a little
Ugh,
bit in an
yeah.
attempt to appeal to that crowd, which
Yeah.
means unfortunately, not through the literal content of the show's fault, but in like a meta reaction, I can't not associate it with him.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't not associate it with the McDonald's incident, and I can't not associate it with dudes who dress up as Deadpool at Comic-Con conventions
Well,
and are annoying.
I definitely appreciate you doing this for me. For me, I guess I got lucky in that, like I said, I wasn't watching the show yet, and I got turned off to watching it because
Yeah,
of the McDonald's incident. And so by the time that I actually watched it, it was years after the McDonald's incident. So
sure, sure.
so I was like, all right, all right. And plus, I trust my partner implicitly with any and all television recommendations because he has impeccable taste.
Yeah,
So
he's great.
yeah.
We are all love.
We are all love. But that said, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, for sure. But like, yeah, unfortunately, it just left a bad taste in my mouth, and like,
Mm,
it's just it's an interesting thing where because like people will misinterpret plenty of media that centers around um, asshole male protagonists.
yeah,
Um, but like for some reason, it doesn't bother me when people misinterpret BoJack, because that doesn't take away from my enjoyment of BoJack, and it
sure.
doesn't bother me with Sopranos, and it doesn't bother me with Breaking Bad. For some reason, it really bugs me with Rick and Morty, and I
Yeah,
don't know why.
it is really bothersome. It's really bothersome. I think mostly because they miss the point of the show so egregiously that it's just incredibly offensive to me.
Yeah, I I don't know why, because the show goes into overtime to make Rick look like a real jackass who is like deeply lonely in his life,
Yeah,
whose only friend is a small child who can't really say no to him.
yeah, yeah,
Like, and that's enviable to some people, but also like it's the kind of thing where like, sure, you can say the show does that, but you also make his life look super cool when he's flying in a spaceship.
right. Which, and I think that the surface, of that is what the main fandom has latched onto without going into the deeper
Mm.
nuance of the fact that Rick is just really a terrible person.
Terrible person, and has experienced the effects of him being a terrible person,
Yes,
which is that he has
yes,
no like lasting relationships with anyone, and his, and look, as we talk more about this episode in particular, his own family isn't even wink wink his family,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and all that.
yeah,
But I mean, that happens with like a lot of these shows, again, about asshole male protagonists, um
yep,
is like you can say like, well, obviously the show is showing you why that's bad, but at the same time, like Tony Soprano's cool.
Right, right.
Tony Soprano's cool, and he drives a cool car, and he can get anyone killed if he wants, you know.
Yeah.
And Walter White has this giant pile of money, and like you can say the show is saying and that's bad, but like on a surface level, I don't know, that giant pile of money looks nice.
Yeah.
BoJack
Yeah.
has a big, huge house in the
Big
Hollywood
big house
Hills.
in the Hollywood Hills
He's
and
got like an infinity pool. That guy's cool.
all that good stuff. Yeah.
He owns a boat.
Yeah. Well, let's not get into that. Let's
Right, of course, of course.
we don't have time to unpack all that.
But yeah, no, it's just it's an unfortunate, where obviously like you got to make a jerk protagonist a little bit likable, or else they're not the protagonist.
Right.
But also in the same boat, it kind of makes it hard to sell the argument of like, well, no, we're portraying that as a bad thing
Right.
when it goes out of the way to make these characters look cool. Hey, look, I'm running into the same problem when I watch Succession too.
Oh, really? Well, see, I still need to watch that.
You do, and
Yeah,
please,
I
like,
know.
much like Righteous Gemstones, keep me in the loop as you go through that.
I definitely will.
Yeah, look, those characters are monsters, and they run the in-universe equivalent of Fox News and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
They have really nice yachts though,
Of course they do.
and everyone dresses in really nice suits.
Yeah.
And again, you can say, "Hey, that shit's bad." I'm like, they're pretty though.
Those yachts sure are pretty.
Yeah. Anyway, so sorry, I don't want to just make this about my negative reaction to the show.
That's okay.
But it's not entirely negative because I love parts of it.
Sure.
The episode that I mentioned or alluded to rather earlier on, with the interdimensional floating heads, the like talent show episode, I think is funny as hell.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, that one is really good.
I like the one where they leave Jerry at the babysitting daycare center of all Jerry's.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's a really good one too.
There are a lot of concepts in this
show.
show.
It's a good show.
Yeah, there are a lot of concepts in this show that I really like. I just feel embarrassed to watch it because of the actions of its loudest fandom.
Yeah, I also for a long time shied away from even admitting that I watched and enjoyed the show because of that. I was like, please don't think I'm one of these people because it's, I'm not, but the show is genuinely good.
So, Leslie, follow-up question then.
Mm-hmm.
Why this episode?
Well, I feel like this is the episode when I was first watching the series. This was the first episode in which I connected with the show. So there's always going to be an episode, I feel, apparently, particularly in adult animation, in the adult animation shows that I deeply enjoy, where there's one episode, like it's never the first episode. Like I give it a little bit, and then I find that there's one that just really connects with me. And like for Bob's Burgers, it's in the first season. I can't remember the number, but it's the one where Bob drives a cab so that he can get Tina her birthday party of her dreams. Obviously, at BoJack, it was A story is a D story, and this is the episode for me where it really for Rick and Morty. I could connect with it and I could understand it a little bit better because there are a lot of emotional stakes in this episode, and a lot happens that changes the fabric of the characters as we know it, and the consequences are extreme. And I felt like I really needed to. I felt very heavy after I finished watching it, and I just needed to take a moment and really ruminate on what I had just watched. And I was very impressed by that, and I really appreciated that they were going that deep with these characters because at first, of course, on the surface, and naturally the fan base does not help with this assumption. The assumption is that it's like a crude blue show with burps and farts and fucks and all that kind of stuff. But this episode, I feel, is the first one in which it's really obvious that they're doing something deeper and more important here.
Yeah, for sure. Something we used to say when we covered BoJack Horseman is we used to say like, yeah, this episode's a bit of a bummer, or this ends on a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
Referring to kind of the rise and fall of the dramatic arc of BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
And also we talked about how, I don't know, it takes like 2 or 3 episodes of BoJack to realize like, oh, this is going to be a headier program.
Yeah.
Because we ran into that problem trying to convince people like, no, this isn't just Family Guy, but it's a horse.
I'm telling you, that's why, not to go. If you would like to listen to our full opinions on this, we have an episode of that on our other podcast that we started, Forces and Men with Leslie and Ben. But this is
Still
why I think
available
that,
on the Infinity Break website.
and Spotify and wherever you listen. But
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was saying about our A story is a D story, because that is the episode where we really first start to see those stakes. And I feel like that's the same way with this, with Rick Potion number 9, is where you first start to see, like, oh shit, this is like, the consequences are real, and they're really going to show us, it's not just going to be zany mishaps and adventures, and then everything is fine all the time.
Yeah. This episode ends on a bad thing happening to not just the characters, but I guess the entire dimension they're from.
Yes.
And it doesn't, it manages not to just undercut it with further comedy, as would be very easy to do.
Sure.
This episode ends on like a minute long reflective sequence set to more than a minute, actually. I just realized, because it starts with them digging the graves.
Yes, it does.
Not just Morty wandering through the house. So yeah, maybe about a minute and a half, 2 minute long sequence of like kind of some sorrowful music playing as Morty, well, whatever, you listen to the show, you know that the deal is Morty have spoilers, Morty having buried his other dimensional self, so that he and Rick can slide into this universe, a correct universe, after they have royally fucked up the previous one.
Yeah, yeah.
And it shows him kind of walking into his home, his quotation marks home, looking at his quotation marks family, realizing that his actual home and family are in a world that they have since departed and is at this point seemingly unsalvageable.
Mm-hmm.
And realizing that he has to now do the, if this were real, unenviable task of trying to assimilate himself into his current quotation marks family.
Right.
Which, prior to the events of that day, are functionally indistinct from his other family,
Yep.
except for a deeply traumatic last like 15 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is just an incredible episode for that reason, and also because the world building here is very important. And if you had gone on to watch further seasons past season 2, this definitely does come up late. It's an important thing. It's an important juncture in the road of the storyline of Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it does come up later. It is important.
Right. Yeah. You mentioned that via text, and obviously, I agree with you about the interdimensional angle, because it kind of made the rules of this show that anything is possible, and it changes the tone of the show and all that.
Right.
But if you're referring to a specific moment in a later episode, you're going to have to illuminate me on that one.
I don't. It's a story arc that comes up later. That's multiple episodes. It's very, very important, is what I will say. I don't really want to go into it, but they're like you find out that there are a bunch of different Ricks with a bunch of different Mortys, and that Rick always has to be with a Morty for various reasons. And it's really, really deep, and it's really cool. And I recommend keep going with it, because it's great.
Okay, well, maybe
I know I'm
might.
really, really selling it, but no, you really, really should, though, for real. It's just genius storytelling, I think. And I think that the way that they veiled it behind this crude humor, in these despicable people, particularly Rick. Rick's character arc is the most impressive to me, just because he is awful, but there are parts in later seasons where he starts to realize that, and he starts to feel remorse, and he starts to kind of become a little more less overtly terrible and a little more morally gray. But he never becomes good. He never becomes a person to want to be like, for sure.
Right. I wouldn't presume so.
But there absolutely is nuance involved as you continue to watch.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that this show does I'm trying to think of how to distinguish these two, and maybe I'm wrong because again I've only ever seen two shows of Rick and Morty, but it feels
Okay.
like BoJack tries to. BoJack has clear dramatic narrative arcs
Mm-hmm.
that you know, even if you don't know where they're going, you know it's going to keep coming back.
Mm.
Especially more so as kind of things come to a culmination point in the later seasons.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Whereas Rick and Morty feels like every once in a while it decides it's going to do a harder episode,
Mm-hmm.
and it does. There's not necessarily foreshadowing and intentionality in the same way. It feels like
I would
it just feels like
disagree.
every once in a while there's a yeah, sure. I'm just saying that it feels like every once in a while there's like a break from the comedic elements to go down a darker road,
Ah, I see what you mean. I
as
yeah,
opposed to like intentionally
yeah.
pre in advance threading in dramatic
Yeah, yeah,
elements.
yeah. No, I agree with you. I think that um I don't know that there's an episode of Rick and Morty that is nothing but pure emotion the way that there are episodes of BoJack Horseman that are nothing but pure emotion.
Sure,
I'll say
sure.
that for sure. Like
Uh,
they always get the crude humor in, and they always get the lowest common denominator, lowest hanging fruit in, no matter what the content of the
hmm,
episode. Whereas there are definitely some episodes of BoJack Horseman, Free Churro comes to mind, like where it's just the whole thing is just very heavy. So I
right.
guess that is a difference for sure. Um, and I could
Yeah,
see how it would be hard for some people to. I don't want to say it this way because it's going to make me sound like I'm like, oh, you have to be super intelligent to understand Rick and Morty, and that's what the fandom says, and they're wrong.
yeah. They're wrong as
Because
hell.
like you don't, but also just understand that there's more to it than, oh, this guy's really funny. He drinks a lot and it feels like he's invincible and goes into interdimensional space uh adventures and has a lot of sex. Like there's more to it than that.
Of course. Yeah, I feel like I'm on the precipice of describing, like right on the edge of describing what I'm thinking correctly. Um, I've just drawn a blank.
Oh no.
Okay, you know how in some you know how in action movies,
Mhm.
and I guess particularly in superhero movies,
Mhm.
where there's maybe not or movies that deal with magic or whatever, where there's not a particularly strongly defined limits as to what characters' abilities are.
Yes.
And like you'll see a Superman esque character get like slammed into a skyscraper or whatever,
Mhm.
and the whole skyscraper will come tumbling down on him or whatever, and he gets up and he's fine or whatever. But then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
someone punches him in the jaw weird, and that puts him in a coma.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
And,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
kind of like in the moment, you're kind of like, well, shit, what's the rule here? Like,
Yeah, that
you know,
happened in Black Widow quite a lot.
oh yeah, kind of. Or like, whatever. The Flash can run fast, but not that fast.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And it's sometimes in especially superhero movies with not as solid scripts, you're kind of left to wonder, like, okay, well, what are the what's how much damage can this guy take? How fast can this guy actually go?
Mhm.
Not to get obsessed with the rules, but to be like, the stakes don't feel real if there doesn't seem to be a consequence.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like with this show, it kind of feels like, oh, what traumatic experiences does Morty go through that are played off as a joke,
Mm.
and which ones are going to have lasting effects? And
Yeah,
it's a little bit of like not knowing the stakes. You know what I mean?
that is true. It does play a lot with that. Kind of to the point where you do have to think everything is significant and everything is
Hmm.
important. Some things are not, obviously, but yeah, it could come back at any time and be much more significant than you originally thought.
Right. Which BoJack does so well.
Yeah, yeah.
Stuff that we thought was like, oh, okay, well, that was obviously a really regrettable moment in his life that happened in like season 2 or whatever,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden we're at the end of season 6, and it's like, oh shit, this is
This is
the
actually,
key.
and it keeps coming back, and I'm like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
and I think, yeah, I think for me there's like a little bit of confusion in look in a lot of media, but I think especially in this one where it's like what are the stakes? What are the consequences?
Right.
Is this going to be one that's just played off for laughs, or is this going to leave a scar?
Mm, yeah.
Some media handles that well, and some media doesn't.
I think that Rick and
Um,
Morty does a pretty great job. I just really feel like it needs to be redeemed in the eyes of people who respect the same opinions that we respect.
of course, of
you
course,
know,
of
you know
course.
what I mean. If you're listening to this podcast, that means that you like our opinions, kind of okay.
Mhm.
And so, in case you were on the fence about Rick and Morty, or you were overtly like, I'm never watching that show with those garbage fans, that is why I wanted to cover this one. This
For
one's for
sure.
you.
Well, thank you, Leslie, for your service. Do you want to talk about the animation?
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about the animation.
I feel like last time I obviously in our season 2 pilot we talked
Yeah,
about King of the Hill and
premiere.
how King of the Hill, the people look normal, as it were. We
Right, right,
talked about
right.
like the silhouette rule and all that.
Hmm.
Um, this show, on the other hand, does a very good job with its silhouettes.
Yeah,
Not to insinuate the King of the Hill doesn't, but I'm just saying like Rick is a recognizable shape. Morty's a recognizable shape. Um, some of the other human characters, they're human characters, but like, you can tell in silhouette what the art style of this
right.
show is in a very distinct way.
Yeah,
Everyone's got these like long spaghetti arms, as I think I mentioned.
yeah.
Uh, they have exaggerated like cartoon, features. Characters' bodies will move at like angles that don't work in
Uh
real
huh.
life, and that you would never see Hank Hill move in.
Right.
This is something that really takes advantage of its animated status in a way that, as we mentioned, King of the Hill could kind of go either way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This definitely does have a more, I guess, sophomoric kind of animation style.
Sure.
And that's another reason why I kind of wasn't really into it for like wanting to watch it, because I saw, obviously screen caps, and I saw illustrations and stuff. I was like, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Right, right, right.
We could be in a American Dad situation. We could be in a why can't I think of the original show that American Dad? The
Family Guy.
bad Family Guy, the bad one. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, it certainly leads you to believe it's going to be that. We've said that about two different shows. I'm wondering what the reverse of that is. Um, Something that like leads you in with the premise from the start, where the hook isn't hidden in the fifth episode.
yeah. I don't know.
Well, we'll be
Uh,
talking about it later this season, but like Castlevania,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Castlevania, will know what it's about right away. Dracula is what it's about.
It's about Dracula, and you'd better recognize.
Have you, not to skip ahead, have you ever seen it?
I have seen an episode or two. I haven't
Okay,
watched
cool.
it, but I've seen an episode or two. I was excited when it first came out, but it was just one of those that I was, got busy and it fell off the radar. But I'm looking very forward to discussing it with you.
Sure, sure. I was just curious. Well, Netflix does that darn thing, especially with its animated shows, where all of a sudden you blink and season five's out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
exactly. And then I just lost track of it.
I feel like Voltron and She-Ra and like all those kind of shows, all those animated shows that I feel like BoJack's the only one where one season came out once a year.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like I literally blinked and then all of a sudden we are on season 5 and the grand finale of She-Ra, and I'm like, that started 2 years ago. What's happening here?
That's how they do it, man. You got to
So
get in
I
where
can
you
see
fit in.
if you weren't already on top of Castlevania and then you blinked and it was the end of the show.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
can
yeah,
see
yeah.
how you might have been overwhelmed by starting it.
Definitely, definitely.
Um, but yeah, no, it's interesting how we talk about like these shows that end up having higher concepts. How like the higher concept doesn't happen until like halfway through the first season or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if there was a reverse of that, where it's like, no, here's the high concept. The jokes will come in a moment.
Yeah, I don't really know. I guess we're going to find out this season, aren't we?
We're gonna find out this season. I'm kind of under the impression that I haven't watched any of it, but I'm kind of under the impression that Lower Decks is that way.
I haven't watched it either. But we're
The
not
the
we're spoiling the whole season, Ben. Jeez.
You're right. Well, hey, we talk about it in the grand scheme of the genre.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I will say I do like the animation of this show. I like the fluidity of everything.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that people complain about with the the ugly adult animation that comes out these days is that
Yeah.
it's a lot of the McFarlane technique of just like copy pasting the same eyes over and over
Uh-huh.
again.
Uh-huh.
Um, where like Peter Griffin only has like five expressions or whatever.
Yeah.
This has like a lot of fluidity and movement to it. Um,
Yeah, it
I
does.
like the way it draws pupils. Weirdly,
I actually do too. I
the weird
actually
like
dig for the,
frayed
the
pupils.
weird, like, squiggly, frayed pupils. That's
Hmm.
actually something that I do enjoy, I have to say.
Yeah. I like how it looks.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm into it too.
I think it's got some, as we talked about, its weird science fiction premises. Like, I think it's got some cool character designs too.
Mm,
I
yeah.
know there are a couple characters that might as well be stick figures. uh,
Well,
no, I mean literally the Spitlick or whatever his name is.
oh yeah. I mean, I guess, but I still think that the creativity comes in more of the interdimensional stuff, I would say, as you go
Yeah,
on, and like particularly with some of the more fan favorite staple characters like Mr. Meeseeks. Did you
that's
see the
his
episode
name.
with Mr. Meeseeks? Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was referencing
Oh,
when I
that's what
said
you're
Mr.
talking about.
Spitlick.
Oh yeah, no, Mr. Meeseeks. Hi, I'm Mr. Meeseeks.
Yeah, sorry, I was referencing the Superman villain because I couldn't remember what the name of the character in this show
Got
is
you.
called.
Got you. Yeah.
Um, I think that's about all I have to say on the show. I just wish it's a great show. I just wish the fandom wasn't like
The
that.
fandom is terrible. And here's
I
the thing.
wish
I'm giving everybody who watch or I'm giving everybody who listens to this show permission to watch Rick and Morty, enjoy it, and still don't feel like you can say to anybody that you like it and enjoy it. Because I feel like I'm a little bit, I'm revealing a big secret here by putting it on a podcast that I enjoy Rick and Morty. That's how much the fan base fucking sucks. It's just the fandom is terrible.
when I watched it in the living room, I turned down the volume so my roommates would know what I was watching.
Right? Like, don't. Well, you could have blamed it on me. Like, this is the one time you could have been like, "Well, we're for the show. Leslie insisted on it. Fucking garbage. Rick and Morty. Am I right?" Anyway, no, like it's. But seriously, it's a great show with lots of merits. The fans are just, and I don't know how it happened. Like, I don't know how dude bros just ruin everything. Honestly, like Elon Musk. I'm blaming Elon Musk.
I do know how it happened, which is that it's a it's an asshole male protagonist show that like you know I, anybody who's enjoyed Community can jump into this. Like if you're
Okay.
already a fan of Harmon, has an enormous following as a person
Uh huh.
outside of like his actual outside of Community or whatever because he has his podcast.
Okay, that
I
makes sense.
absolutely see how this gained its huge following, how it accidentally started appealing to the wrong type of people, all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. The mystery for me isn't how the fandom got that way; it's why it irritates me more than it does the other shows that also happen to.
um, Probably because it was one of those things that was at least this is what happened to me. It was simultaneously everywhere, overhyped, which you and I both have a problem with, and also
Right,
at the
of
same
course.
time that it was being overhyped, it was being exposed for all the wrong reasons because the fans were being fucking jackasses. So between those two things of it being incredibly popular and also people losing their entire minds for Szechuan sauce, I
Hmm.
think that's probably why it's like, ugh, absolutely not.
Right, right. The shittiness of a fandom became significantly more visible.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I just that has to be it because otherwise I'm just like, if fucking Elon Musk was like, yeah, I love Breaking Bad, I would be like, okay,
All
well,
right,
I do
well,
too. I guess we can agree on one thing.
it's like Tori Amos
Whereas in
said.
this,
It's like Tori Amos said, me and Charles Manson like the same ice cream. What are you going to say?
right, right, right. Whereas in this situation, it's like, oh well, fuck you. I don't like this then.
Well, fuck you. I'm not going to like it. Well, now I don't think I'm going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, whatever that key difference is, and I think you're
Right.
right that it's the visibility of it.
Yeah.
Um, what's your favorite joke?
Oh my God. So there are a lot of really good jokes in this episode, as in most episodes, but I do think that my favorite one was when Rick is asking Morty for some of his DNA, and then Morty starts to like unbutton his pants, and he's like, "Well, one of your hairs. I want one of your hairs. This is a Game of Thrones."
Right, right, right.
I liked that one a lot.
I forgot to mention when we were introducing Justin Roiland, since he voices both of those characters, I think that obviously they have those improvisational episodes where they're making up television on the fly.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But I think that obviously lends itself to the improvisational way that both of those characters talk.
Mm.
Um, like I don't necessarily think those burps and stutters are written into the
Sure,
script.
sure, sure. Those are definitely ad lib for sure.
It just kind of feels like, well, if Justin Roiland's the only one in the recording booth, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
and
more or
he's
less,
talking
yeah.
to himself, I think that's probably where a lot of the now listen now hold up kind of talk comes in.
Honestly, I feel like
Yeah.
I'm really impressed by that. That's one thing that I actually do really enjoy about it is listening to the dialogue and how ad libbed it is,
Oh,
and
for sure.
it's very impressive. And I like that people talk over each other and that there's fits and starts. I don't know. I like it. I'm a fan.
No, I do too. Um, I think it's when Jerry says like God's the one out there turning people into praying mantis monsters. You can thank me. Might have been my favorite joke.
No, yeah, no, that one was really good. That one was really good.
Or just when Beth goes to the veterinary hospital and like all of a sudden the word Devon is just repeating in his mind over and over and over again.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
I guess I like Jerry jokes. That's what
Jerry,
I'm getting at.
man, Jerry's great. And there's another episode where where Jerry and his wife have to go through like counseling, kind of, sort of.
Hmm.
Oh, it's a really good one. It's really good.
I think that about does it for Rick and Morty. Any final thoughts?
Uh, just you don't have to tell anybody you watch it. You can enjoy it. Just don't tell anybody. Do what I
Well,
used to do.
I share my Hulu account, so someone's gonna see it.
You can. I'm telling this to the listeners, Ben, not you. But
I know, I
you can
know.
always get on my Hulu if you want to. I guess.
No, it's okay. I'm already using another mutual friend of ours.
Fair enough.
Folks, you can find me online at Ben C. Hamlin. That is BenChamlin over on Twitter.com. You can also check out all of my work over at InfinityBreak.net, both the shows that I work on directly and the shows put out by the rest of our team. A lot of cool stuff over there. We got a film podcast. We got a couple tabletop shows. We got this. We got some streams. Highly worth checking out, I think.
Yeah, it's a
Leslie,
good
where can
time.
people find you?
People can find me at Vanetti at Twitter. It's Vanetti. I never talk about Rick and Morty on there because I don't want anyone to know that I enjoy it. But I do talk about other television, and you could definitely give me a follow and see what I'm talking about. And also feel free to call me out and be like, hey, I heard on your podcast that you're into this. What's that about?
Yeah, I got bad news. We do actually have a very public facing. Well, anyway.
It's
Speaking
fine.
of making
I'm
this
ready.
show,
Look, I made this decision on my own to have this discussion. So I'm gonna own it. I'm owning it.
speaking of making this show a little more public facing, if you want to help spread the word about this show, you can tell your friends. The best way for any creative project to survive on the internet is for direct word of mouth communication about how good the show is. If you like us, please do consider telling a friend or leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/Infinity Break. New bonus episodes coming out there soon, including one a little bit ago on the Righteous Gemstones, as well as some of our talk about some other television that we've been watching.
Yeah.
I think that covers just about everything. Let's see. Yeah, patreon.com/Infinity Break. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends about us. Check out all of our work at infinitybreak.net. Ben C. Hamlin at Vanetti. I think that covers just about everything.
Yeah, sounds
We'll
good.
see you in 2 weeks' time for another adult animated show. We don't know what it is going to be right now, but you can find out and follow along at Infinity Break 23 and at Syndicated WLAB.
Yep. See you next time.
Bye bye.